Nagy declared last week that Andy Dalton would start for the Bears over Justin Fields before the rookie impressed in the team's preseason finale. Now Chicago will prepare for Week 1's matchup against the Rams, and Fields will actually run the scout team's offense in practice. So, Shannon, which quarterback would you start in the season opener?
I'm going to feed Andy Dalton to the Wolves the first game, Skip. That's what I'm going to do, Aaron Donald, because, Skip, in their first 3 games, they got the Rams and the Browns. At Rams, at Browns. Browns, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, and Malik Jackson. And then we know what the Rams represent. Aaron Donald, who's just the best defensive player. And when he's all said and done, he's going to have a case as the greatest defensive player of all time. Skip, when I look at people need to understand, like in the preseason, it's as vanilla as it gets. They don't do scheming. I'm not game planning. When I come out here every day, Skip, I have a game plan of what the topics. I know the topics. I don't know what you're going to say, but I'm going to attack certain things. Okay, if Skip says this, I'm going to say that. If Skip goes here, I'm going to go there. Well, in the preseason, Skip, that's not what they do. They just like, we're working on what we're working on. You run what you run. We're going to work on what we're going to work on because we're getting ready for, if I'm the Rams, I'm getting ready for Chicago. If I'm Green Bay, I'm getting ready for New Orleans. So I'm really not worried about the preseason game.
By the way, every day is a playoff game on this show.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because we scheming for we actually scheming for each other, Skip. And so when you think about it, and that's why I don't like to put a whole lot. But you can tell, Skip, you can tell, like, okay, this guy got something. And you want to see a guy in practice. Can he translate that over to a preseason game? Even though a lot of times he's going up against guys that they may or may not make the team. You just want to see him compete against guys that he's not familiar with, that he's been going against in mini camps, OTAs, and now training camp. So you just want to see if he's still able to compete and make those plays that you've seen him make in the practice field. Because I've seen guys, Skip, make plays, acrobatic plays, be in perfect position on the defense, and come game time, it doesn't translate. So you just hoping that. And it looks like Justin Fields has a very, very bright future. But, Skip, there's a video I want to show you, and this is what you have to be careful of with rookie. Before you run the video, Skip, this is what we call, I believe, an underfront. They got 4 down. They walk the linebacker to the edge. The Bears are in what we call scat protection. Every eligible receiver is going to be free to exit. I believe the line makes a Louis call, which means they're going to go Louis, Larry, Liz, whatever you want to call it, Skip. They're going to slide left. They're saying, the 5 offensive linemen are saying, we got these 4 downs. We've identified the Mike. So 4 down, and that Mike comes, we got him. Anybody else that comes, Justin Fields, you're hot off that. He misses this. He never looks. He's looking left where he's protected, but it's his blind spot that he can't see, and he almost gets decapitated. Jim, roll the tape. You see what happens? See that right there? That caused you to miss 3 or 4 weeks. He's young. He can overcome that. Look at this, Skip. There's no reason they lizzed it. They slid the line left. It's scat protection. So what you got to do? Now, I tell you what he did do, Skip. They run another similar blitz to that. He got rid of the ball. So he is a fast learner. I like that aspect of him. He's a very fast learner. He's like, these legs hurt. Like, here, they hit harder than... They don't hit like this when I was at Ohio State, but they hit harder than NFL, Skip. So I'm okay with them feeding Andy Dalton to the Lions the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season and let this kid comes in. But, Skip, they talk about he's going to run the scout team. That's what all backup quarterback does. He will get 1 to 2, maybe 3 reps, Skip, with the number ones, but that's what the guys do. The guys that are backups, they run the scout team. Guess who got his start? Guess who got his way into the starting lineup on the number ones? On scout team. So that's an opportunity for Justin Fields to work on his craft. Patrick Mahomes, that's when they're like, oh man, this dude he's gonna be really good. Look how he running the scout team. So
3 games, and then that will be it. And they'll be 0-3, and they'll go to the kid. Okay. What if
They might beat the Bengals, Skip. They get the Bengals at home, so they might beat the Bengals. So they might be 1-2, and then week 4 versus the Lions at home. Justin Fields coming up in that.
That's it. Where's the Cincinnati game?
Cincinnati is week 2 in Chicago.
Okay, and then it goes at Cleveland.
At Cleveland.
3, right? Okay. All right. So you're saying let him win 1 game at home against Cincinnati. I think that's his old team. That's his original.
So you be Jack to go against your old team.
Well, he went there last year with my Dallas Cowboys and beat them there. No real achievement, but he did do that. Okay, I'm going to start this by saying who and what is Andy Dalton at age 33, going on 34. I raved about the acquisition of Andy Dalton last year just in case that Dak got hurt. And unfortunately, I'm going to knock on wood for Dak again. He did get hurt in the 5th game.
Right.
And Andy Dalton came in that 5th game. And what happened at the end of that 5th game, he pulled it right out of the fire with 2 clutch big throws against the Giants to Michael Gallup.
Right.
And we've showed them way too many times, but it was 2 big ones up the sideline, second for a touchdown, and it just saved the game.
Right.
And I thought for the moment it might have saved the season. Then Zach Martin couldn't stay healthy, and nobody could stay healthy, and I wind up starting 2 undrafted free agents at both tackles. Well, what do you think is going to happen to Andy Dalton as the defense turns historically bad, right? What do you think is going to happen? Nothing great.
He's not going to win you. He's not going to win you any games on his own, Skip. You just hope he can hold it in the road.
All right. So his final starting record for my Cowboys was 4-5. I'll even give him the one that the game he saved against the Giants, and Dak did get the win because he started the game. But let's give Andy that one. So let's say he was 5-5.
Okay.
And the numbers are just okay. Threw for about 200 yards a game, and he was 14 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. That's pretty Dalton-esque to me.
Yes.
And he won games at Minnesota. That was fairly impressive. And I told you the game at Cincinnati. And then at the end of the year, San Francisco came. They were just beat all to hell. And he beat them. And then Philly came, and they were not much better than San Francisco. Jalen Hurts trying to figure out how to play quarterback on the fly. And Andy Dalton in that game went 22 of 30 for 377, 3 touchdowns and 1 pick. That's pretty good. That QBR was 87. That is high.
Right.
Okay, so that was a big-time Andy Dalton game by a guy who once upon a time, it's a long time ago, made 3 Pro Bowls right out of the gate in Cincinnati and averaged winning 10 games a year for the first 5 years he played for the Bengals. Under Marvin Lewis, they're a pretty good football team.
Correct.
And he was a pretty good quarterback who went 0-4 in the playoffs. So that pretty much sums up what Andy Dalton is and what he is not.
Correct.
As he ages, he's pretty statuesque in the pocket. He has little to no mobility. He's going to have a hard time against a Rams pass rush. He'll have a harder time probably against the Cleveland pass rush. So here's my point about this. I'm back to what I said about Mac and Cam. If you believe in Justin Fields, and you know what he is and what he isn't, but what he is better than what Andy Dalton is. Like there is, like I'll give the kid a little edge on the ises over the isn'ts. On the isn'ts, I'll give Andy Dalton a little bit of an edge. Because he's just a professional quarterback. That's what he is. And I was watching one of the Bears telecasts featuring Jim Miller, who I covered when he was the quarterback for the Bears. And he was just raving about how good Andy Dalton had been in joint scrimmages and in practices. He said, I've spent a lot of time at Hallis Hall this week, and Andy Dalton is just killing it in practice. I do not doubt that for 1 second. He's been there and done all this at the highest level. He can function at a high level as a professional quarterback. Every time I turn on my TV and watch Justin Fields, I see one of those that you just showed, and then I'll see 2 or 3 splash plays where I'll say, whew. He can move. He can run it downfield when he's challenged because he ran 11 times for 92 yards. That's 8.4 per carry. That's pretty good. Completion percentage was scary low, 61%, but he had some big games, and he did not throw a pick he played 92 snaps. So remember, Mac Jones played 75 preseason snaps. Justin Fields played a lot of football, 92 to 75, so he got in a lot.
He did.
2s, 3s, 4s he's playing against, I got you. But I saw a lot from Justin Fields. I saw spark. I saw inspiration. I saw contagious effect on the team. Even the 2s playing with him. They rose up. You could see the excitement in the Bears that Andy Dalton will not give you. Andy Dalton is business as usual. He's stoic. He's not inspirational. He just sort of is who he is. And he's not going to lift this team to greater heights. Justin Fields can.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that the Bears are a playoff team with Justin Fields?
I think they have a better chance of being a playoff team. I don't think they're a playoff team either way. That's just my gut. I just think because I don't, that I would play Justin Fields out of the box. But you know how I feel? I'm a prisoner of the Peyton Manning effect.
Throw him in there, let him.
Yeah, just throw him in there, let him lead the league in interceptions the first year. You're still decent. You're not an embarrassment.
Right.
But let him figure it out on the fly, because that won't happen that often to Justin Fields. That's a face side blitzer. That's your face side. You should be able to see that.
You better hope it doesn't happen often.
He had so locked in on his primary, he never saw this coming and took it right between the eyes. And it's dangerous because it knocked his helmet off. That's how hard that shot was.
His head like to been in that helmet.
That's what I'm saying. It almost felt like the head was rolling.
You can't take too many shots like that.
On your eyesight?
Right, and you can't skip. Once they redirect, you have to understand, I'm protected to the left. They just slid the protection. They made a Liz, Louis, or Larry call letting me know they're going left. Now, the weak side is scat protection.
Okay, so we both watched Justin Fields a lot last year. What do we love and what do we not love? Well, Clemson, that was just big time.
Sensational,
That's like #1 overall pick kind of performance. And Northwestern, the Big Ten championship game, not so much.
Indiana?
It was Indiana was not terrible, but it was. Listen, Northwestern was just flat out ugly. Where it was an eyesore for me, and it gave me pause. And it's why I had some doubt going in about Justin Fields. I also think he's just a natural-born playmaker. He's just got it. He's got the head and the heart, and obviously the talent to make